Very good morning to all of you once again. Dear learners, we are continuing in lesson number 1, the Harappan civilization. Moving forward, now we are going to learn about tracking social differences. Archaeologists used some strategies to discover the social or economic differences among people of certain civilizations. They used to study the burials, artifacts, temples, etc. So, children, now we'll be studying one by one all these things, and we'll be discovering that how burials, temples, or artifacts were helping in discovering the social differences. In simple words, social differences means what way the rich people used to live, what were their beliefs, likewise, what were the conditions of the poor people, what were their traditions, customs, or what were the prevailing norms. We'll be able to know this through all these points which we have discussed. So, first of all, we are going to get detail about burials. How do burials help us to track social differences? So, children, in Harappan burials, the dead were generally laid in pits. Pits means gadha. Okay, they were laid in the pits. Some of these pits were lined up with bricks. Okay, some of these burials. Okay, you can consider those burials which were lined up with the bricks. They would be of some higher section society. Is it? Some graves contain pottery and ornaments too. That directly refers to the belief in afterlife. Okay, some of the daily use materials were kept in burials too, so that directly refers about the life after death. Okay. Secondly, it has been determined that Harappan did not believe in burying in precious things with the dead as of Egypt. Okay, it has been determined, but some of the burials have been found with the precious materials like of ornaments or like of the other pottery or some dear things to the dead one. Okay. Now let us see how artifacts were helping archaeologists to discover the social differences. Let us know about that, shall we? Just a minute. Okay. So now after burials we see artifacts. How do they help us in tracking the social differences? Artifacts are divided by historians in two categories. Number one is utilitarian and second one is luxury. What are utilitarian? Utilitarian, as the name suggests, were the objects which were used in daily life. Luxuries are the precious items. In the utilitarian category, we can include the objects of daily use made up of ordinary materials such as stone, clay, very normal materials which are needed by everyone in our daily life. These include quints, gatti, okay, pottery, small pots used in kitchen and all, needles, flesh, rubbers, etc. to rub on the body and all. These items have been found commonly in all settlements. Okay, so they generally used by both rich and the poor. Second thing is luxuries. As name suggests, luxuries would be very costly. Okay, luxuries would be the items which are found and used only and only by rich households. These luxuries involved the rare quality items. These were non-local materials. Non-local materials means they were not available in the Harappan settlements, or means for make them all the technologies were not available over there. Okay, for example, miniature pots, gold jewelry, the glaze earthenware. Glaze earthenware means the some earthenware which is very shiny, very glazy or glossy. Hoards also. Hoards means you can refer them as tijori, you would have heard. Okay. All these luxuries were limited up to large settlements only. You would have studied up to now that Harappan sites, some of the sites were very small and some of the sites were very large, like of Mohenjo-daro and all. So especially luxuries have been discovered in the large settlements only. Okay. So with this our topic of discovering the social difference gets complete. Now we will be moving to the next topic, that is craft production. Okay, we'll be discovering about the craft production. Children, this would be helping you to learn more about it. Okay, come on, let us see. Okay, archaeologists usually identified craft towns on the basis of availability of raw material such as modules means small shapes, shells, outer covers, copper ore, tools, unfinished objects, and waste material. So all these things, if they are available in plenty amount somewhere, we would be referring that particular place, that particular site as craft town. Children, with very simple example, you would have observed in Rajasthan, the places like of Rajsamand, places like of Kelwa, places like of this marble zone, where you can find the marble type of slurry, marble type of pieces, shells, the residue material over there lying in a large amount. That directly refers that marble work is going on. So children, likewise, the craft production, whatever clues I gave you, they help us to locate some particular site as a craft site. Okay. So mini modules or mini bits usually left in the working area or the workshop area, and thus become evidence of the craft center. Now children, especially a particular town, that is Chanhu-Daro, very tiny settlement, very small settlement, was exclusively devoted to craft production. It included especially bead making, shell cutting, metal working also, and seal making too, weight making too. All these works were going on, all these works were running in Chanhu-Daro. Though it was a very tiny settlement, but all these works were taking place over there. Stones, especially carnelian. Carnelian was the stone which was of red color. Materials like of jasper, crystal, quartz, steatite, and metals like copper, bronze, gold, etc. were used in craft work at Chanhu-Daro. All these particular metals have been discovered over there. Some beads were made of 2 or more stones glued together. Glued means pasted together. Just a minute. Okay. Other than this, just a minute. Various shapes like disc shape, like cylindrical shape, spherical shape, barrel shapes were also given to all these works modules. Okay. Designs were engraved or incised on craft items. May they be shell, may they be beads, may they be some other designs were created. So they had knowledge of doing this. This was regarding decorating the materials. Techniques for making beads made archaeologists surprised, because children, in those times there were not any kind of drills, there were not any kind of scientific type of or the great what we say grinding type of drilling type of materials were not there, but then even these artists were doing very well. So this made scientists of today extremely surprised about. Some work molded out of a paste, okay, with steatite. Steatite was a very soft kind of stone through which a paste was made, and out of that paste some designs were created, some materials were made very shiny. Red color of carnelian helped to decorate the things better way. Carnelian's red color was obtained through firing the yellowish raw material. Okay, once again I am repeating that they had knowledge of doing these things, that what way the color would come better, okay, what way it would be, it would become shiny. Okay, so they were doing over that. Nodules were chipped into rough spaces and then finally flagged into the final form. Okay, so here you can judge the work was going in steps. Okay, somewhere small nodules were produced, somewhere these nodules were chipped together, glued together, somewhere the designing work was, in some workshop designing work was going on, assembling work was going on. Okay, so here you can judge that grinding, drilling, polishing were the part of the process. I am repeating that at Chanudaro it was observed that in some house grinding work was going on, in some unit drilling was going on, in some other unit polishing work was being done. Evidence of specialized drills have been found. Not that much of sophisticated as of today, but in their function they were using some of the drills, specialized drills. These have been discovered at Chanudaro also, at Lothal also, Dholavira too. Okay, Nageshwar and Balapur, these two places have been identified by the historians as shell supplying centers. Shell means outer cover. Okay, once again please repeat, please note it, as it has been asked lot many times in the board examination, that name the two sites which have been helping or serving as the shell supplying centers. So Nageshwar and Balapur were the two sites which had been shell supplying, okay, for the beads, bangles, etc. Okay, as well as for transportation of these goods to different areas. So this is all about the craft production, in which we have studied about Chanudaro. We have Chanudaro we found as the main center where the craft production was going on, whereas Nageshwar and Balakot we found that these were the centers where who were supplying the shell, okay, as well as transportation type of thing was being done. Children, now we move to the next topic, that is procuring materials. Means how raw material was procured, and likewise we will be studying that how it was supplied to the distant areas, as far as of the Dilmun or the Oman or the Magan. So how it was supplied up to these distant areas. First let us see how they were procuring the material. Children, you know we are talking of the time period around 3500 years from now. 3500 years ago from now, आज से 3500 साल पहले. So in those times transportation was not so good. How they were procuring the materials, metals, shells, carnelian, steatite, how they were procuring material at Chanudaro. Okay, let us see. So now we are moving in the next topic, that is procuring material. Please see it very carefully. Strategies for procuring material. Many materials for craft production was to be collected from outside. Bullock carts were the only mean to transport man and material to distant lands in those days, you know it. Riverine routes and the coastal routes were also used privately, and probably these were the only ways through which large materials were being collected. As I have told you earlier also, that Nageshwar and Balakot were shell supplying areas. Okay, outer the cover, which is called shell, that was being supplied by Nageshwar and Balakot. But source of lapis lazuli, a very valued blue color stone, which was very valued, was obtained from Shortughai. Shortughai is a place in present day Afghanistan. Now you can judge that some material was coming from Rajasthan, some material was coming from present day Afghanistan, some material was coming from some other areas. So that was about procuring. Procuring means collecting material, okay, at a craft site. Lothal, Gujarat, Lothal in present day Gujarat was source of carnelian. Carnelian, I have told you that this was stone through which red color was extracted by firing it. Likewise, metals and steatite was obtained from South Rajasthan. Okay, some of the metals like of copper, steatite also, through which the paste was made, that was obtained from present day Rajasthan. Here, for procuring material, copper from Khetri, gold from South India, okay, expeditions were launched. Expeditions means some very well managed type of agendas were made, and then through bullock carts, the all materials were being collected from these distant lands. Okay, so this all thing was going on. Inhabitants of these areas were in connection with the Harappan. That is very clear clue. You know, when I told that copper used to be collected from Khetri is in Rajasthan, which is still a very good source of copper. Okay. Likewise, other than Khetri, from South India, gold was being collected. So people of Harappa were being in contact of all these places dealers. Clear? Present day archaeological studies reveals that copper was also brought from Oman, present day Oman, on the southern eastern tip of the Arabian Peninsula. So now here you can judge, children, that the people of Harappa had been in import-export type of activity from very beginning. There are some evidences that Harappan vessels, Harappan pottery have been found at some of the Omani sites. Okay, Oman, you know, that is a coastal area on the Arabian Peninsula that was far away from Harappa. But some of the Harappan origin pottery have been discovered at Omani sites, which directly gives you proof that Oman people were in contact of Harappans, and Harappan were doing import-export type of activity. Okay, many Mesopotamian texts mention contact with regions named like Delmun, that is Bahrain, Magan and Malwa, which are possibly the Harappan region. Okay, so communication and contact with Oman, Bahrain and Mesopotamia was by sea. Okay, so children, Harappan people were creating a good type of craft job, good type of trade job. They were having good knowledge of this. For that, they have arranged the land transportation through the bullock carts. Likewise, they had the riverine routes also. They were using the sea routes also. Okay, so import and export type of activity was going very well. Now let us see about seals. This would help you to learn the more. Just a minute, huh? Children, this would okay. So yeah. So we are going to learn about the Harappan seals. Then we'll be also discussing about the scripts and weights also. So let us see. First of all, in seal, I would tell you in 3 different categories. Last year in 11th standard also you had studied about the sealing and all. So let us know about the seals. You know what is the purpose of sealing? Just a minute. Purpose of sealing is to facilitate a long distance communication with authenticity. Okay, means whatever the thing or message or material is sent, that is authentic, that is with intact information, and nothing has been done wrong in the way. Okay, it reached as it is. Okay, to maintain the authenticity, sealing was done. It is still practiced for some official jobs, and that was maintained in from the ancient time. So let us see about the Harappan sealing method. Purpose, I have told you, the purpose was to made authenticity. Now content. What was the content of the Harappan seals? These were made of steatite. I have told you that steatite was a soft kind of stone and often contain animal motifs. Motifs, you know, you would have seen masks, you would have seen the face covers. In Hindi it is called mukhota. Animal motifs, यानी एनिमल्स के मुखोटे बनाई जाती थी. And signs from script, okay, Harappan script, you know, that still remain indeciphered. Till date, Harappan script has not been deciphered, so it is quite difficult for us to know about that what they message. But there had been animal motifs over it. There had been some Harappan symbol signs or the script words were there. Okay, so that was the content. Now the third is process of sealing. How they seal, what way they seal. So the thing which is to be sand was packed properly. That is the first step. Its mouth was tied or stitched. That is the second step. And third is the knot was. The knot was affixed with some wet clay. Okay, on the knot, whatever the packet is, over the knot, there a clay, wet clay would be attached. Over this wet clay, it would be sealed. The seals were pressed over the wet clay. If the packet reaches with its sealing intact, means that it had not been tampered, it had not been changed, and seals had an enigmatic means secret code also. Okay, secret code script which was be conveyed to the receiver. Okay, so the purpose behind the whole thing was to keep the things intact. Children, now let us know about the script. What Harappan script was made of, what did it convey, how it was special about, and has it been deciphered or not, or what were the difficulties in deciphering it. So Harappan seals usually have a line. Harappan seals usually have a line of writing with the name of the owner. Okay, so whosoever the owners, may it be the king, may it be the trader person, may it be someone else, whosoever is using seal, that used to carry the name of him. You would have seen the seals in present day offices. maybe your principal seal, maybe some officer seal, you would have observed the name or the facsimile signature of that particular post holder. So likewise it was done in the Harappan also, Harappan times also. Motif on the seals used to convey to those who could not read. Okay, so that was the purpose of animal motifs using. Clear? Most inscriptions are short. It's very clear and obvious thing that generally the Harappan seals would be conveying message in brief. Script remains indeciphered. Indeciphered means one has not, all the researchers or all the scientists were failed to clear out or to understand the Harappan messages till date, because it was not alphabetical. It has too many signs, around 375 to 400 signs, which were still not deciphered, which were not being associated with the clear meaning. So containing 375 to 400 signs, it is really difficult for us to associate some particular meaning to all these signs, clear, all these symbols. It is believed that this Harappan script was written from right to left. Okay, you know, we write Hindi and English from left to right, but it is believed that like present day Urdu, Harappan script was written from right to left. It is just a belief. Okay, we are not sure about, but historians say that it was written from right to left side. Writing has been found on seals, copper tools, rims of jar, terracotta tablets, jewelry, and even bone rods. Writing have been found. This all refers to a widespread literacy. Means many people were aware about the literacy and all. You can see this type of design. You see the symbols over there. You see that these are not so clear, as they are very old age. Also, there had been the natural impacts over them. You can see this particular module. Is it? Okay. Now we move towards weights. Just a minute. Weights. What was special about Harappan weights and all? Let us see. So these Harappan weights were in Harappa. There had been a precise system of weights. Usually they were made of stone. They were called made up of a particular stone. That stone was called chert. C-H-E-R-T, chert. And these all weights were in cubical shapes. You know, cubical shapes, weighting measures were there. They were regulated for systematic exchanges. You know, this is the basic purpose of weights. Lower denomination of weights were binary, while the higher denomination follows the decimal system. You know, binary means only 2, 0 or 1. Likewise, the higher denomination follows the decimal system 0 to 9. Clear? Lower denomination of weights, the metal exchange have been found at various Harappan sites. Smaller weights were used in precious things like of saffron, like of jewelry, like of beads, etc. So for that, lower denominations were used, whereas for higher denominations, the decimal system weights were used as of present day 1 kilogram, 2 kilogram, 20 kilogram, 100 kilogram, etc. So children, in this video we are keeping up to this much. In the next video we will be finishing this lesson. We will be learning about the ancient authority or the ruler or the system. We are keeping in this video up to this much only. Thank you everyone.